Blake Lively's PR strategy under scrutiny following Seth Meyers' interview. Last evening, Blake Lively addressed ongoing industry controversies during her appearance on Late Night with Seth Meyers. The footage captured her gesturing emphatically while discussing professional challenges. Observers have noted a disconnect between her carefully cultivated public persona and her recent media appearances. During her interview, Lively stated, "What I can share without delving too deeply is that this year has delivered both extraordinary professional triumphs and significant personal challenges. I observe numerous women around me reluctant to voice their experiences, particularly now, hesitant to share their stories. This hesitation exists systematically to maintain silence. The Late Night appearance in April 2025 has been characterized by media analysts as a meticulously orchestrated public relations exercise. Lively arrived wearing an elaborate white formal gown reminiscent of ceremonial attire, later changing into a completely different ensemble for her exit. She appears to be positioning herself as an advocate for all women, which creates frustration given how entertainment industry figures seem to accept this narrative uncritically," another industry observer remarked. Her entrance resembled a prestigious award ceremony rather than a talk show interview. The voluminous dress overwhelmed the studio seating arrangements, requiring adjustments to accommodate its dimensions. Seth acknowledged this immediately. "There are certain guests where I think perhaps I should return to formal attire tonight. This is a remarkable performer in formal evening wear." Critics question the purpose behind such elaborate styling choices for a standard interview segment. Throughout the conversation, Lively framed her experiences as containing extraordinary professional triumphs and significant personal challenges, a narrative structure that some viewers found reminiscent of sympathy-seeking presentations. The timing of the interview has raised questions, occurring shortly after legal representatives reportedly requested communication records regarding a professional project. Rather than addressing these matters directly, she appeared in formal attire, projecting composed vulnerability. Media outlets had published favorable coverage about the interview before it had actually broadcast. "This represents coordinated publicity rather than independent journalism," one media analyst suggested. "The urgency behind establishing specific narratives in public consciousness is quite apparent." Lively acknowledged her position during the interview. "I recognize many individuals lack opportunities to speak publicly. I consider myself fortunate to have this platform." Critics have questioned the sincerity of these statements given the circumstances. In parallel, increased public appearances by Lively and her spouse Ryan Reynolds have been documented. Their visibility at premieres, television appearances, and public engagements has increased substantially. "We encounter their images across all entertainment news platforms, appearing in different attire at numerous functions and engaging with photographers," noted one observer. Media coverage prioritizes fashion analysis over substantive reporting. Publications have dedicated multiple features to describing outfit details, including necklines, fabric textures, and accessory selections, while avoiding discussion of professional controversies. They're attempting to generate overwhelming visibility. Their strategy appears focused on presenting attractive, harmonious imagery to counterbalance negative impressions, suggested a public relations expert. Outside their New York residence, promotional materials for previous projects have appeared in prominent positions, which some interpret as self-referential positioning. Meanwhile, their recent creative project received mixed reviews from critics, with several publications noting structural issues and excessive duration. The Washington Post assigned it a single-star rating, while Seattle Times described narrative inconsistencies. Globe and Mail published a plea for restraint rather than continuation. "This doesn't represent career revival, but rather carefully structured professional management through stylized appearances," wrote one critic. The Seth Meyers interview itself avoided substantive questioning about industry allegations. Instead, the conversation focused on trivial matters like beverage preferences for 5 consecutive minutes. "Emily demonstrates character evolution in this narrative by accepting ice in cocktails," Meyers noted, to which Lively responded, "That represents significant development. Previous viewers would understand her perspective on this." When asked about personal preferences, Lively engaged in lighthearted musical references, prompting questions about the appropriateness of such levity given the professional context. The host employed the classic insufficient information approach, effectively sidestepping controversial topics while maintaining celebrity access. Lively redirected conversation toward parenting experiences, noting her children provide emotional support during professional challenges. They're genuinely my essential connection. Regardless of daily professional experiences, I must create joyful environments for them consistently. They provide my fundamental support. Observers noted the conversation's careful redirection. As the interview concluded, Lively expressed multiple appreciative statements to Meyers, interpreted by some as gratitude for avoiding challenging questions. The exchange appeared more ceremonial than journalistic. Meanwhile, Reynolds participated in unrelated industry celebrations, delivering lengthy remarks at an event honoring musical artists despite minimal connection to the honorees. Critics suggest these appearances represent coordinated attention management strategy. Media professionals have reportedly expressed reluctance to investigate related controversies, citing potential legal complications. Everyone demonstrates significant caution, one insider revealed, not complex or controversial, but potentially litigious. Multiple content platforms allegedly declined documentary projects perceived as potentially critical. The consequences extend beyond public relations concerns. The professional accused by Lively has experienced significant career disruption, losing representation and public visibility. Comparing observable impacts, the clearest career disadvantages have befallen the accused party, who has lost agency representation and professional opportunities, noted one industry analyst. Critics suggest Lively's team frames all questioning as inherently unsupportive rather than addressing substantive concerns. The approach effectively categorizes legitimate inquiry as opposition to broader ethical principles rather than specific factual examination. During her interview, Lively referenced birthday coincidences among family members, suggesting playful personality combinations. One of my daughters shares a birthday with historical and contemporary figures. Imagine those personalities blended together, she remarked. Public reaction to these appearances has been increasingly skeptical. Digital ratings platforms reportedly removed user feedback due to overwhelming negative response. Viewers weren't necessarily evaluating creative content quality, but expressing dissatisfaction with perceived authenticity issues. The contrast between styled appearances and underlying professional questions has created growing public